So good morning. So in helping couples make sense of the conflict that often shows up in intimate relationships, Harville Hendrix and his wife Helen LaKelly, the creators of Imago Relationship Therapy, they posit that what seems to happen is we form this unconscious image of the person who make us whole, but it's made of the positive and negative of our parents, our original caretakers. And some people really resist this notion that, they say, well, I would never be attracted to someone who didn't meet my needs the way my mom or dad didn't. And I would agree, on a conscious level, you wouldn't. But unconsciously, which, it has a different agenda. Sometimes the unconscious is the one driving the bus. So a metaphor might help. So if you think of the filing system you have in your computer, all right? So and think of a child, or us, as when we were small, 1, 2, 3. Most of our learning at that point was nonverbal. It's right brain. It's tone of voice, it's touch, it's look, it's expression, it's, more than words, all right? And everything goes in the computer. And we all know how observant young kids are. But our parents weren't perfect, so everything goes in the computer, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all right? Now, it's not about blaming our parents, but, all parents do the best they can do, but they weren't perfect, just as we're not perfect. So then when we go out looking for a partner, guess what? All that information, the good, the bad, and the ugly, is filed under the file. This is the person who meets all my needs. This is the person who will take care of me. Now, when we go out looking for a partner, that file, that same file, is pretty close to the surface. And guess what? It has all the bits and pieces in, the good, the bad, and the ugly. In the romantic love phase, it's the good. The good bits tend to show up more. But what we're saying is, don't be surprised if the bad and the ugly also show up eventually in the relationship. And that's what leads to conflict. All right? Now, if you think about it, if I had certain needs that weren't met growing up, and then I replay that same scenario with my partner, it seems like a recipe for disaster. And the statistics on divorce seem to bear that out. And it is until I become more conscious and more aware. And if I can reframe it, then it really, I've married my healer, but I have to be aware, I have to be conscious. I can use myself and my wife as an example because I'm oversimplifying, but just as a child, she felt her emotional needs weren't met. Her dad was an alcoholic, not there for emotionally. Who was she attracted to? Someone who grew up in a boarding school who didn't learn how to deal with feelings very well. Again, a recipe for disaster. And then when we were introduced to the Imago system, and I learned as I become more conscious, as I actually stretch to meet her needs in the feeling area, I not only met her legitimate needs, but I really started healing myself because that was a part of me that had been stunted growing up. So it really was a win-win, but we both had to become conscious. We both had to become more aware. Okay? So anyway, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.